I'm tired of my sister-in-law's behavior, and I'm even considering not going to my brother's wedding because of her odd actions. My 27-year-old brother is marrying Lena, who is 24. She doesn't have much family, so my family has tried hard to make her feel included. I liked her the few times I saw her, but things started to get strange. I live 5 hours away from my family because I work as a personal nurse for Rita, who is 98. I live with her and am also studying for another degree, so I don't have much free time. The first time I met Lena, almost 2 years ago, she came up to me saying that everyone in the family always talks about me and asks about me at every family gathering, and she wanted to meet me. I had a short conversation with her and then went to talk to my aunts for the rest of the evening. Whenever I was talking to a family member, Lena would always join the conversation, even if it was something private. I assumed she was just trying to fit in, so I included her in the conversation, even though I felt uncomfortable. After that, she started inserting herself into every conversation I was having with anyone at any family event. But I kept including her, despite it feeling awkward. The problem started when they announced their engagement. They were going to announce it at a party, but before they did, I had to leave urgently because Rita had fallen in the bathtub. My brother understood the urgency and took me to a private room to tell me the news about his engagement before I left. I congratulated him and gave him a hug, but Lena ruined the moment by complaining that the firstborn of the family, me, should be there. I ignored her, and my brother explained that I had to leave. I have been taking care of Rita since before I graduated, and she's always trusted my skills as a nurse. She's even paying for my second degree, which is a lot. Rita became like a third grandmother to me. After falling in the bathroom, she broke her hip, and her health significantly worsened. It's just me and her great-grandchild who take care of her. My mother helps sometimes because Rita doesn't like to be touched by hospital nurses. She has trauma from her childhood that makes her very uncomfortable around strangers. A few months ago, Lena went with the women in the family to try on wedding dresses, and one of my cousins told me that Lena kept complaining because I didn't go with them. Rita was sick, and I was taking care of her. Lena knew that on my mother's birthday, I invited her for a brunch that was meant to be a mother-daughter outing, like we do every year. But Lena insisted on joining. My mother felt uncomfortable, but we included her anyway. I could share many similar situations where Lena pushed too hard to get close to me, even though I always tried to be kind to her. She even argued with a cousin over this. I reached my limit yesterday. Rita passed away 3 days ago. Not only am I devastated, but so are my parents and my brother, since everyone knew her and she was a great woman. Rita wanted us to scatter her ashes in the cottage where she grew up. Rita's great-grandchild surprised me by arranging a trip for us to go and scatter the ashes next week. I told my family about the trip, and my mother said she wanted to go too. But Lena got really upset and started complaining, saying that we were going on a trip just 2 days before the wedding. To be honest, I had completely forgotten about the wedding, and I just don't feel up to going. My mother explained that we would only be gone to scatter the ashes and would return the night before the wedding, and that everything for the wedding was already prepared. But Lena kept complaining, and I snapped when she told me I cared more about an old woman who wasn't even family, and that I should care more about her since she would be my real family as my brother's wife and the mother of my future nieces and nephews. She also said that Rita wasn't even blood related to me. I told Lena that Rita was like family to me and that she wasn't even a friend, and if it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't even bother trying to get along with her. Maybe I was harsh, but I was upset and angry. I left while Lena tried to argue with me. She started crying and said that all she wanted was to be family to me. I've always tried to include her, but she crossed my boundaries and showed no empathy at all. She didn't even offer condolences when Rita passed away, and instead kept talking about the wedding all day while I was making calls to handle the funeral arrangements. Now, I'm thinking I don't even want to go to the wedding. I love my brother, and he even picked out my bridesmaid dress, but I feel so bad I don't think I can attend. I'm even thinking of cutting contact with Lena because her behavior has been so odd and overwhelming. I'm just so sad and want to cry all day because I lost the woman I considered my guide for 5 years, someone I valued for her wisdom. I feel guilty about not wanting to go to my brother's wedding and making him sad, but I just don't want to deal with Lena anymore. I know that if I see her again, I'll probably end up fighting with her if she makes another comment like that. Comment section. Comment 1. If Lena understood what healthy relationships really look like, she would have approached Opie privately to ask why Opie wasn't as invested in family time. Opie already had an argument with one of my cousins who tried to explain that I have a busy life and can't visit the family often, but Lena just complained that I didn't care about the family and started talking badly about me. Even my mother, who dislikes physical contact, asked Lena to please not hug her so much because it makes her uncomfortable. But Lena ignored this and kept hugging her, making my mother anxious. We've all tried to be patient with Lena, but there comes a point when enough is enough. Lena doesn't listen to anyone, not even my brother, and her behavior is pushing everyone away. Comment 2. Is it possible Lena has a skewed idea of what it means to be a good sister-in-law? She might have grown up without a family and gotten some of her ideas from fiction. In some stories, family dynamics can be odd, and she may genuinely think she's being polite by inserting herself into conversations or trying to be a part of everything. But she needs to learn what healthy boundaries look like in relationships. Opie should consider explaining to her what a healthy relationship means, so she understands the need to respect personal space and boundaries. Lena always emphasizes that I'm the firstborn, so I should be involved in everything related to the family because it's supposedly my responsibility. I have no idea where she got this idea from. At first, I thought she just wanted a family like the ones you see in movies, but her behavior has become increasingly hostile behind my back. I'm not sure if she treats other family members the same way, but the only person who tried to explain boundaries to her seriously was my cousin, and they ended up having a major argument because Lena is incredibly stubborn. I don't understand what she wants, and I'm just so tired of it all. Update. First of all, I want to thank everyone who gave me good advice, even though some left strange comments without even reading my original post. I'd like to clarify again that I've always tried to make Lena feel welcome, and I understood that she never had a family. But do I really deserve to be treated without empathy? Why should I keep overflowing with empathy for her when she never showed any empathy toward me? I'm grieving, and right now I can't even have peace because of her behavior. Some people have suggested that I treat Lena like a child, but that's just rude. She's a grown woman, and I think it would be insulting to treat her like a toddler. I talk openly with my parents and my brothers about everything. Through these conversations, I discovered even more strange things Lena has said and done. My mother mentioned that Lena often makes comments like, "I'm more like a daughter to you than Opie, because I visit you all the time while she never does," which makes my mother uncomfortable. Lena also ignores the fact that my mother doesn't like physical contact. She's explained many times that she gets anxious and tense with hugs, yet Lena keeps hugging her. My mother said Lena speaks very badly of me behind my back, too. For example, Lena once said that I cried more over Rita's death than I did for my actual grandfather, which is a truly hurtful thing to say. My father also told me that about a year ago, Lena approached him and said, "Your second daughter," referring to herself, "knows you better than your first daughter." She compared the gifts we both gave him for Father's Day, and he just laughed it off, but he thought it was a weird thing to say. My father has always been the one who's a bit distant with Lena, so now I understand why. My younger brother told me that he's heard Lena complain many times about me not going to family gatherings, although she's complained directly to my face about this too. It seems like we've all been shutting down a lot of things because we wanted to understand her situation and make my brother happy. We live near a lower income area, and we know many others in similar situations to Lena, so we tried to make her feel included. But I don't understand her behavior toward me at all. Right now, I've been crying most of the time because I just don't want to deal with this after Rita's passing. I feel bad for my brother too. My brother hugged me and said he was sorry, and then he started tearing up, admitting that it's difficult for him to deal with Lena's behavior as well. He told me that Lena has always made hateful comments about Rita. She never even met Rita, but all of us in the family are sad about her passing because she was a great, kind woman. It's sickening that Lena hates a woman who's dead, and every time my brother tried to explain to her that Rita was important to us, Lena would just give him the cold shoulder and not speak to him for the rest of the day. My brother is trying really hard to help Lena because she's always wanted a family, but I told him that we do want to be her family, but we need to set boundaries. Those comments she makes hurt. My father told my brother that the way Lena is behaving is only pushing her further away from everyone, and he doesn't want anyone talking badly about his daughter. My brother looked really tired, and honestly, he looks tired every day now, but I want to believe it's because of the wedding. I didn't tell him that I'm thinking of cutting contact with Lena because I didn't want to make him feel like he had to choose between her and me. Instead, I told him that we need to set firm boundaries with her so that we can eventually have a healthy relationship in the future, and maybe she can start healing. So far, we've been too soft with her, and the situation has reached its limit. I haven't spoken to Lena at all since. I assume my brother had a serious conversation with her. The wedding is still happening, and I'll attend to support my brother. But honestly, I'm starting to think he's making the wrong decision. I don't believe Lena is a mentally stable person anymore, and she's not even a good person in my eyes. But I don't want to come across as the jealous older sister who ruins his relationship, so I'll stay silent and let things unfold. I just want to go on the trip, bury Rita's ashes with her great-granddaughter, and find some mental peace before the wedding day. I don't feel mentally well enough to argue or feel even more guilty for how I'm dealing with this. I just want some space. Mini update. My brother already knows everything Lena has done. As I said in the post, he's also tired of her behavior, but we can't do anything about their relationship if he chooses to stay with her. My father had a conversation with him a few hours ago, telling him that we're worried and asking if he's sure about the wedding. My brother said he's fine, just tired, and will continue with the wedding plans. So, there's not much we can do except show support for my brother and try to help him see things more clearly. But people need to understand that we can't help him by being aggressive toward Lena, calling her names, or kicking her out of the family. That would only make her the victim again and give her an opportunity to manipulate my brother. Dealing with someone full of trauma and childhood issues is not easy. Lena doesn't know what basic boundaries are, and even when she's been told about them, she refuses to respect them. But we can't be harsh with her because she's not mentally well. Please don't blame my brother if you don't understand what it's like to be in a toxic relationship. He's not at fault for anything. He's also a victim here. Summary of the comments and responses. Comment 1. Why is your brother still marrying Lena? The commenter suggests that Lena's treatment of the family is unacceptable and expresses concern for the future of the marriage. They suggest that Opie, original poster, should support their brother only if he becomes sane enough to eventually divorce Lena. Opie responds by acknowledging that, while they don't understand why their brother is still with Lena, the only thing they can do is offer him support for now, especially since they're not feeling mentally well enough to address the situation directly. Comment 2. Your family should gently let your brother know how they feel about Lena's behavior. The commenter suggests that Opie's family should express their concerns about Lena's treatment of Opie and others, but Opie responds by saying that they've already tried to address it with their brother. Their father has asked him if his relationship with Lena is toxic, but he just remains silent, showing how difficult it is for him to face the reality of his situation. Opie reflects on how people in toxic relationships often don't see the signs until it's too late, but feels guilty for not noticing the behavior earlier. Comment 3. The family needs to set clear boundaries with Lena. This commenter advises that Opie's family should be more assertive and tell Lena that her negative comments are not welcome. They suggest that if Lena can't respect basic decency and boundaries, she should be removed from family gatherings. They also propose that the wedding should be postponed and that couple counseling is necessary. Opie agrees, but clarifies that they had already told Lena multiple times that her comments were wrong and have been too lenient out of pity for her traumatic past. Opie acknowledges that they've been too soft in addressing the situation because they didn't want to hurt their brother, who is also being emotionally manipulated by Lena. Comment 4. Pretending everything is fine only harms your brother. This commenter emphasizes that Opie's family has been playing nice for too long, and this is only doing their brother a disservice. They argue that if the family pretends everything is okay, the brother will never see the warning signs of being in a mentally unhealthy relationship. Opie responds by clarifying that the family has already tried to talk to their brother about Lena's behavior. While Opie didn't outright tell their brother they were thinking of cutting contact with Lena, they've made their concerns clear. Ultimately, they respect their brother's decision, even if they don't agree with it. Opie also reflects on how difficult it is to deal with toxic relationships when you're in a healthy family environment and how hard it is to take action that might lead to family conflict. Update from Opie. Response to further comments. Opie shares that their brother's wedding did go ahead despite family objections. After another intervention from their father, the family made it clear to the brother that they did not approve of the marriage, but he still chose to marry Lena. Opie's father didn't attend the wedding and hasn't spoken to their son since, while their brother has cut contact with the family, except for their mother. However, Opie's mother doesn't want Lena in her house, making the situation even more complicated. Opie continues to support their brother emotionally, but feels that he's making a huge mistake. They're hopeful that, at some point, he will open his eyes to the situation, but they can't force him to see things their way. Opie also acknowledges that leaving an abusive relationship is very difficult, even when the signs are clear. Clarification of family dynamics. Opie defends their family's approach, stating that they were all trying to maintain peace and support Lena due to her difficult past. They didn't want to believe that Lena might have bad intentions. Opie admits that they didn't notice all of Lena's problematic behavior because they weren't around the family enough. They also express guilt for not recognizing the signs sooner. They also clarify that Lena doesn't have any intentions of stealing Opie's identity, as some comments suggested. While Lena is strange and difficult to deal with, Opie doesn't think she is dangerous. Strange confession from their brother. Opie's brother confessed to their father that Lena feels that Opie's relationship with him is strange, particularly because they are very close. She is jealous of the time Opie and their brother spend together, and doesn't understand how siblings can have that kind of bond. Opie admits that they don't think their closeness with their brother is weird, as they know many people have similar sibling relationships. However, they now see that Lena's jealousy over their bond is causing conflict in the relationship, and she doesn't understand or respect that dynamic. Takeaways from the update. The situation is ongoing, and Opie feels caught in the middle, trying to navigate the complexities of family loyalty, emotional support, and setting necessary boundaries. Opie is frustrated by the inability to reach their brother, but they acknowledge the difficulty of leaving a toxic relationship. They want to support him without pushing too hard, as they don't want to make things worse. They feel emotionally drained by the whole situation and just want to find peace, but they're also trying to respect their brother's autonomy, while still hoping he'll eventually realize the severity of his situation with Lena. Next steps for Opie. It sounds like Opie is focusing on supporting their brother, maintaining boundaries, and trying to stay mentally healthy during a very emotionally charged situation. Opie should continue to express their concerns and boundaries, but also accept that their brother has to make his own choices, even if they're not what Opie believes is best for him. Giving themselves permission to step back and take care of their own mental health is crucial right now, and eventually, Opie might need to reassess how involved they can be with Lena and their brother's relationship. It seems like the situation with Opie and their brother's relationship with Lena has continued to be difficult, and there's a lot of emotional complexity involved. Here's a breakdown of the latest update and the comments that followed. Update from Opie. Brother's decision to marry Lena. Opie's brother chose to marry Lena, despite the family's objections and concerns. Their father expressed his disapproval by not attending the wedding, and Opie also didn't go, instead choosing to stay at Rita's house to grieve. The family has continued to avoid the topic of the wedding, and Opie has decided to take a step back to allow their brother to make his own decisions, even though they don't agree with them. Lena's behavior. Opie acknowledges that Lena's behavior has been manipulative and toxic, and no matter how many times boundaries were set, she doesn't respect them. Opie is no longer engaging with Lena directly and has distanced themselves from her. They have tried to confront Lena before the wedding, but it only caused more tension, with their brother becoming upset with Opie for confronting her. Confusion over Lena's intentions. Opie is still unsure of Lena's true intentions, whether Lena dislikes them, wants to be them, or simply wants to be the center of their brother's life. This confusion is compounded by Lena's lack of respect for boundaries and her manipulative behavior. Family response. Opie's mother has also distanced herself from Lena, limiting contact to maintain some relationship with their brother, but Opie recognizes that at this point, there is little more they can do. They've all made their attempts to intervene, but now Opie has decided to stop expending energy on the situation and to let their brother live his life, even if it's a difficult choice. Relevant comments and responses. Comment 1. Look out for yourself and support your brother from afar. The commenter emphasizes that Opie needs to focus on their own well-being and let their brother deal with the consequences of his choices. They suggest that Lena's issues will likely cause more drama in the future, especially when they encounter milestones like having a child, but it's not Opie's responsibility to intervene anymore. Opie's response. Opie agrees that their brother might change his perspective in the future, but they aren't sure if Lena will ever change. They also mention that their brother can't have biological children and isn't interested in adoption, which may reduce the potential for additional complications around grandchildren. Comment 2. Does Lena have an anxious attachment disorder? This commenter speculates that Lena might have some underlying psychological issues, like an anxious attachment disorder. They suggest that Lena's behavior, wanting to be the center of attention in her relationships with Opie's brother and mother, could stem from this. They also inquire about Lena's family background, wondering if her issues are tied to her relationship with her parents and siblings. Opie's response. Opie acknowledges that Lena's behavior seems to revolve around trying to be the center of attention, especially with Opie's brother. They elaborate that Lena seems fixated on being Opie's brother's favorite person while trying to take the role of a daughter to Opie's parents as well. Opie mentions that Lena has no relationship with her own family due to their struggles with addiction. While Opie isn't certain about the specifics of Lena's behavior, they suspect that her lack of family support might contribute to her behavior. Key points from the update. Opie's family dynamic. The family, especially Opie, tried to help and support their brother by warning him about Lena's behavior, but ultimately he has chosen to marry her. Now, Opie is emotionally exhausted from trying to deal with the situation and has decided to step back. Lena's behavior. Lena continues to be a source of conflict within the family, largely due to her inability to respect boundaries and her manipulative behavior. This has caused a rift between Opie and their brother, with the brother siding with Lena. Opie's emotional toll. Opie feels hurt, but has decided that they can't continue to try to fix things for their brother. They are grieving the loss of Rita and are prioritizing their mental health. While they still care about their brother, they can't take responsibility for his relationship with Lena or force him to see the truth. The future. Opie is aware that their brother might face more challenges in the future as Lena's behavior becomes more apparent, but they're trying to come to terms with the fact that their brother is an adult and must make his own choices, even if those choices cause pain to the family. Conclusion. At this point, it seems that Opie has come to a place of acceptance about their brother's decisions, despite the emotional turmoil they are experiencing. They've realized that they can't change their brother's mind, and they need to focus on healing themselves. The ongoing family tension with Lena remains unresolved, but Opie is choosing to step back for their own mental health. It's clear that the situation is far from simple, and Opie is still processing the impact of these family dynamics. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn the notification bell to stay updated.